Gratitude is a feeling of thankfulness and appreciation, and I highly suspect that you might have a gratitude practice of your own. I do too. It's kind of all the craze these days. But here's the thing. Gratitude can be done wrong. I know, right? Who would have thought something so positive, there's a bad way of doing it? And I know this precisely because I know I've done that before, and I actually continue to make this mistake. So I'm still trying to figure my way out and navigate through it. But yeah, saying that gratitude is, can be done wrong or taken too far makes me really afraid of walking out after filming this. Feels like I might get struck by lightning, guys. Hi everyone, it's the Sarah Girl, and I am going to be bearing all about how it is that my practice of gratitude has played against me. Now, maybe I should just clarify what I mean by my practice of gratitude. First thing I do in the morning when I wake up, because I'm the sort of person that wakes up with a racing mind, I tend to anchor really quickly and very automatically these days with just maybe 3 to 5 things that I am grateful for. So as I'm lying in bed, open my eyes, instead of allowing my mind to spiral, I just think of the things that I know that I'm grateful for, and it centers me pretty well. Second thing is I say thank you for my food before I eat. So 2 ways I practice gratitude. Let's talk about the first instance where I think gratitude has played against me, shall we? This happened at the workplace, and sometimes gratitude keeps me very small because, well, in any instance when I've gotten a job, I have been very, very grateful. I'm sure you've been in that situation before when you got a job and you're like, oh my god, yes, finally. Hopefully it's a position that you want, and the regularity of getting a paycheck is phenomenal. But the practice of gratitude sometimes makes me switch off all my, red flags or the signals in my mind that say this is something that you should question. For example, at the workplace, right? I'm so grateful that I have the job that I become number 1 yes man, the first top-notch yes man, because I'm so grateful, right? So grateful. So there has to be a way that I can practice gratitude without essentially losing myself or really living out of integrity with my values as a human being. Losing yourself completely, right? So in the workplace, for example, if someone were to say something that was controversial or an approach that was controversial, and the red lights would go off in my head and the red flags would go off, but I would be very much inclined to listen to the side of my brain that says, Sarah, number 1, you're grateful, right, for this job. So just shut up. You are one person and just go with the flow. Maybe ask a couple of questions just to tone that voice in your head down a little bit, and then I would just run with it. It was an easier way to live, to say that I should just be grateful for the fact that I'm even there and just run with it. Ate me up inside. It's a slow battle, but being used as a doormat, as an after effect of being grateful for the things that you're given in life, I don't think that's the point. But that's where I took it, and that was my experience with gratitude. And now I know a little bit better because I know that there is a way of living in gratitude or having gratitude for situations, people, things, situations without compromising myself. And I hope that speaks to you as well. Yeah, maybe we need to stand corrected on that practice and adjust it a little bit. So that's my first instance of how gratitude can be used really, really, really wrongly. So we talked about it at the workplace. Now let's talk about people and relationships, right? When you're grateful for a person and you say it to yourself, as you should if you have a gratitude practice, and you say all the good things about the person, how they reacted to certain things, how they acted, their actions were something that you find commendable. That's all great. Here's the thing. Sometimes you need to listen to yourself when you're doing these gratitude practices. For example, for me, what I realized when I started being very grateful and saying to myself that I was grateful for people, I didn't realize that I was actually belittling myself in the process. Let me give you a very simple example, okay? And this is going to be with relationships, romantic relationships. Say a relationship has ended, right? And you are at a stage where you can say, I am grateful for the way that whoever is, or I'm grateful for the way that my ex delivered the bad news, but in a matured way, in a level-headed way, and in a way that was respectful, instead of being dramatic. But what I realized much later from saying this to myself over and over again, that I'm so grateful for the fact that my ex or an ex has done something well, and I commend their actions, although it's for a negative thing, for example, a breakup. When I was saying those things, I was talking them up. I'm saying really, really good things about them, which is the truth. We don't talk ill about our exes. Nobody does that anymore. That's not the jam. But it was talking a person up to the point where I forgot myself. I forgot my role in it. And the fact that I was present, I participated as well, and that I too did good things that I should be grateful for as well. It's a small tweak to the gratitude practice. It's especially we need to listen to ourselves when we're being grateful for other people. And yes, there are many times where we can just be one-sided about it. I'm grateful for my mom and everything that she does for me every day. It can be one-sided in that sense, like it's very specific to one person and it's one way. But sometimes if there are trickier gratitude phrases or lines that you repeat to yourself over and over again every day, the truth is also something that involves you. What was your role in that whole situation? For me, all the gratitude practice needed to include was what it is that I went through as well. For example, it would be changed a little bit more to, I'm very grateful for the way that we handled the situation. Yes, it can be that, it's a small tweak. Instead of saying he, it's we. We were matured and we remained level-headed through the whole process, and we still remain friends. For example, this is just a very quick example of how it is that you can just tweak a gratitude practice, and it makes a world of a difference, guys, because you know why? You're listening to yourself. It's a very weird thing to say, right? But you need to realize, and it took me a while to realize as well, that the fact that I'm saying these things in my head to myself, I failed to realize that I'm actually listening to myself and repeating the things over and over again, that I respect this person so much, I commend them so much. It's applause in my head and everything for that person. I was saying indirectly that actually I was kind of hopeless and I was just the receiving end of all things good. No, not true. Small tweaks, guys. You're listening to yourself, and I can't tell you how much it eats away at a person when you don't recognize what it is that you're grateful for, especially if there are things that you should be grateful for yourself. The things that you did that you should be grateful for. It's not always external. It's not always being grateful for something that is done to you, about a job that was given to you, about love that was given to you. No. Be grateful for you. And just remember that you're listening. Be kind to yourself. Let me give you a very quick last example of how gratitude can play against you. It is when the practice of gratitude actually makes you feel like you don't deserve anything more than you're already being given. For example, I recently got a cat sitting gig, pride of my life, and cat sitting for not a friend's cats, but someone who doesn't know me, trusting me enough to watch her cats. I was so grateful to be able to get that gig. I love cat sitting. Long story short is that when I later realized how much I had priced my services on this app that I hadn't checked in a long time, I didn't realize that I continuously lowered my prices over a couple of months, just so that I could, get my first gig on the app. Don't get me wrong, I don't do this for the money, but it's just that later on when I finished the whole project and everything was done, I looked at it and I was like, I think the price that I put and how much I was getting back was not commensurate with the effort that was put in to delivering good quality services for that particular cat sitting job. I deduced that I was maybe contacted because I was the lowest hanging fruit, or the cheapest fruit in the market because I priced myself so low. And I realized it very much after the fact. So while I am very grateful for that job and that gig, but now I realize that the service requires a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of patience, a lot of energy. And so the next time, I'm just going to make sure that while I'm grateful for jobs, I am also going to price myself well. Because you need to know your value, you need to know your worth, and you're allowed to know your value and your worth while being grateful at the same time for the good things that are coming to you. I'm trying to navigate that, being grateful and also knowing your worth. Uncomfortable, but I'll get there. Alright, honey, so those are my instances of where I feel gratitude can play against us, has played against me. With those instances, I'm gonna avoid walking outside outdoors for a while because it still makes me scared. Saying that gratitude is not such a great thing, but I think I've leveled it out pretty well, and I'm still learning. Too much of a good thing. If you have anything else to add to the practice of gratitude, I want to know how it is that you practice gratitude. That'd be interesting to know if there's maybe another way to make sure that I don't take it an all or nothing way with gratitude. So drop your tips on gratitude to me in the comments. So in the meantime, I will be avoiding all contact with electrical appliances and electrical points. And praying very hard. I'm being very grateful that I have not been struck by lightning yet. Until next time, sweetheart. Take care, honey.